Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Gold Rush controversial miner heading back to series. Gold Rush struggled last season with two of the mining teams struggling to find any sort of success. By the end of the season, both the Clayton brothers and Fred Lewis ended up removed from the series, and fan favorite Rick Ness returned. However, it now looks like last season's most controversial mining boss might be returning. Here is a look at what is happening on Gold Rush and who might be returning. Fred Lewis possibly returning to Gold Rush. Last season, one of the most polarizing members of the Gold Rush cast was Fred Lewis. He started off as an inspirational cast member, speaking for veterans and their causes. However, as the season went on, fans felt that the show was using his status as a veteran as a crutch. When Fred wasn't talking about it, the narrator brought it up. The problem is that Fred's work didn't match up with anyone around him. Fred couldn't find gold, he rarely ever made his totals, and he was always seeming to make excuses for his struggles. By the end of the season, fans wanted him gone, and Discovery agreed. Rick Ness returned and joined Parker Schnibel and Tony Beats. Suddenly, there were 3 successful gold miners, and the disappointing results from last season are a distant memory. However, that might change with Fred Lewis showing up again. Fred won't be a boss this season. He already blew that opportunity last season. However, he is looking for a job and went to Parker Schnibel about that chance. With that said, there are some fans on Reddit who see something that Gold Rush might do to add more drama to the series. Could Fred Lewis join Rick Ness's crew? Redditors pointed out that Fred Lewis is looking for a job while Rick Ness is looking for workers. Rick worked to put his new crew together after missing last season. With Fred wanting to keep mining, it makes sense that he might join up with Rick. However, this could cause some major controversy. One of the biggest grabs for Rick and his new crew is Buzz Legault. He brought in Buzz, who was a star last season on Fred's team. However, Buzz also watched as Fred didn't do much right, and he made a comment this season to Rick about that experience. As Buzz said, he didn't make enough money to cover his travel to work. He said it was lol last season working for Fred. If Fred joins Rick's team, Buzz won't be working for him anymore. However, it could really bring back a lot of memories of how bad last season was. With that said, the Redditors mentioned that maybe Buzz could be Fred's boss this time around on Rick's crew. Regardless, it seems like Gold Rush is bringing back Fred Lewis. The mining town of Dawson City buzzed with anticipation as news spread like wildfire. The controversial miner, Jack Wildcat Dawson, was heading back to the hit reality series, Gold Rush. The announcement had come as a shock to many, for Jack had left the show 2 years ago, amidst a swirl of controversy and legal troubles. Now, his return promised not only drama and high-stakes adventure, but also a collision of past grievances and unfinished business. Jack Dawson was a name synonymous with both awe and disdain in the mining community. Known for his unorthodox methods and relentless drive, Jack had struck it rich multiple times, earning a reputation as a gold magnet. However, his aggressive tactics and disregard for regulations had also made him a target of criticism and legal scrutiny. His departure from the show had been mired in scandal after a violent altercation with a fellow miner and allegations of illegal mining practices. Yet, for many viewers, Jack's brash personality and unpredictable nature were exactly what made Gold Rush compelling. As Jack's return was confirmed, social media platforms lit up with debates and opinions. Fans of the show were divided. Some welcomed the drama and excitement Jack brought, while others feared that his controversial presence would tarnish the show's integrity. The production team, meanwhile, was thrilled. Ratings had dipped slightly since Jack left, and they knew his return would reignite interest and boost viewership. Dawson City, where the show was primarily filmed, had changed during Jack's absence. New miners had staked their claims and new alliances had formed. The most notable new face was Maya Chen, a young and ambitious miner who had quickly risen to prominence. Her methodical approach and commitment to sustainable mining had earned her respect and a substantial following. Maya represented a new generation of miners, one that valued ethics as much as profit. The first day of filming with Jack back on the scene was a spectacle. Camera crews scrambled to capture his arrival, and journalists flocked to get a word with the infamous miner. Jack, never one to shy away from attention, made a grand entrance. His convoy of heavy-duty trucks and equipment rolled into town, dust rising like a herald announcing his return. He stepped out, a wide grin on his weathered face, and waved to the crowd. "Did you miss me?" he shouted, his voice carrying over the noise of the machinery. Some cheered, while others looked on with skepticism. Jack's first order of business was to reclaim his old claim, Wildcat Ridge. He had sold it when he left, and now it was under the control of a mining conglomerate. The cameras captured his confrontation with the current claim holder, a slick corporate representative named Kyle Hartman. The tension was palpable as Jack demanded his claim back, arguing that he had unfinished business with the land. "Wildcat Ridge is mine," Jack declared. "I'm taking it back, one way or another." The producers of Gold Rush couldn't have asked for a better start. The clash between the old-school maverick and the corporate entity was reality TV gold. Negotiations ensued, with Jack refusing to back down. Eventually, a deal was struck. Jack would work the claim, but the conglomerate would take a percentage of his findings. With his claim secured, Jack wasted no time getting back to work. His crew, a loyal band of miners who had followed him through thick and thin, joined him. They set up camp and started their operations, their methods as intense and high-risk as ever. The first few weeks saw Jack pushing his team to their limits, driven by an almost manic determination to prove himself. Meanwhile, Maya Chen watched with a mix of curiosity and caution. She had heard the stories about Jack and was wary of his influence on the show and the town. One day, she decided to pay him a visit, partly out of professional courtesy and partly to size up the man who had become a legend. Jack was in the middle of a particularly tricky excavation when Maya arrived. She stood at the edge of the site, her arms crossed, watching as Jack barked orders and worked the machinery with precision. Eventually, he noticed her and walked over, wiping sweat from his brow. "Maya Chen, right?" he said, extending a hand. "Heard a lot about you. People say you're the future of mining." "And you must be Jack Dawson," Maya replied, shaking his hand firmly. "People say you're the past." Jack laughed, a hearty, genuine sound. "The past, huh? We'll see about that." Their conversation was cordial, but filled with underlying tension. Maya questioned Jack about his methods, pointing out the environmental impact and legal risks. Jack, in turn, defended his approach, emphasizing the results he achieved. "I get it," Maya said finally. "You're here to win, but so am I, and I plan to do it by the book." "Good luck with that," Jack replied, a hint of a challenge in his voice. "But remember, gold doesn't care about rules. It's the wild that makes the rules out here." As the season progressed, Jack's return to Gold Rush was everything the producers had hoped for and more. His clashes with the conglomerate, his rivalry with Maya, and his relentless pursuit of gold kept viewers on the edge of their seats. Despite the controversies and the occasional brush with the law, Jack's undeniable skill and charisma shone through. For Jack, the gold rush was more than just a hunt for precious metal. It was a quest for redemption and a battle to reclaim his legacy. And for the audience, it was a thrilling reminder that in the wild, unpredictable world of mining, anything could happen.